Hi YouTube. Happy Friday. I'm doing this video on Friday. I should have did it yesterday, but after my birthday and all work and all that, it's just everything got away from me. So I am doing How to Get Away with Murder review, my brewing review. I'll get to my beer in a minute. This is season 6, the last season that they say, episode 1, Say Goodbye. Before I do that, let me just talk about this beer. I'm like advertising all these beers. Everybody paid me a dime, but this is Lagunitas Hazy Memory, 2019 one hitter series, 8% alcohol, unfiltered hazy IPA ale. So this is what we're gonna be drinking. It's Friday, y'all. Rough day at work. Just tired. But I'm gonna get hyped for this review. Let's taste this. See how it goes down. Okay. I love IPAs. Like usually IPAs can do no wrong in my head. Like you have to be a really bad IPA for me not to like you. Like most IPAs I like hazy. That's good. Anyway, let's get to this review. So it starts off with a funeral, and I'm like, okay, who done died now? What's going on? And then we see everybody looking sad, and then this is little boy run up on the casket, and it's Annalise in the casket, and he's like, "Die, bitch," or something. I'm like, what? And like I knew it wasn't real. It just seemed so out of surreal, and it was just Annalise talking to a support group in rehab. She's in rehab at this point, and we don't know how much time has gone past between when Laurel, from when we last seen when Laurel was came up missing, and now. So, excuse me. So yeah, she's just talking to her support group in rehab, and she's going by the name of Karen because of course she doesn't want the board or nothing to know about her falling off the wagon yet again. It's a struggle, one day at a time, y'all. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here drinking my beer, but it's one day at a time, y'all. Not to talk about addiction or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, it's a struggle. So yeah, from there, but I'm just so used to like something crazy going down with How to Get Away with Murder, and then us going jumping back and being confused about what time we're in, and like, oh, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, this happened, somebody got shot, murdered. Like I'm just so used to that extreme like OMG factor in the beginning. So this whole episode to me seemed like a therapy session. Maybe because it was mostly about Annalise, and forgiveness was thrown around a lot in the episode. Um, so yeah, it just seemed like a really big. I don't know how I felt about this first episode, but I know the first episodes are kind of just setting us up for other things. But I'm just used to Shonda, it's just not flowing the way that How to Get Away with Murder usually flows. So maybe that's why I'm kind of thrown off of it. So if comment below if you get what I'm talking about with how to Get Away with Murder usually flows, and how this like first episode is like, who killed Wes? So and so, a house blew up. Who this? Blah blah. I'm like, oh my God, none of that was really going on in this episode. So it's like, okay, we just gonna cruise on this one. It's just kind of cool. Okay. All right, I'll rock with you and see where we're going. So from there, um, it goes to the gang, and they're talking about, oh, where's Laurel, and Christopher, and the baby, Laurel and her baby, they're missing. We don't know where they are. They're still looking for them. Again, I don't really know how much time has gone by or what, but they're still missing at this point. And what's her name? Tegan is being questioned about Emmett and whatnot, and she was like, she doesn't know what happened. By the time she called or whatever for help, he was already laid out on the floor. Blah blah blah. Blah. And it's just the whole thing with Emmett. We know he got killed by, was that the governor or something? We all know that and whatnot, but there's no way to prove it at this point, and it seems like the law firm is kind of just trying to push it to the side and kind of brush it under the rug. So maybe they had something to do with it, or I was a little confused on that. Like they're just really kind of just pushing him off to the side, his murder, and which it was a murder, off to the side. So they're doing these exercises again back at the rehab with Annalise, and they're reflecting on stuff and talking, and then she reading everybody in a group like, you're boring, you're egotistical, you're this, you're that. You can't put Annalise nowhere where she's just trying to read everybody, especially that's her defense mechanism, because she just puts herself and she just like, I can see through all y'all and y'all addictions. Like, I got real problems, okay? I've like helped cover up my husband's murder. I've done this, I've been through this and all that. I mean, she didn't say that, but we all know why Annalise just is up to here and can't listen to like regular everyday problems that have people fall off the wagon or all that. She got real, for real murderous problems. People always getting murdered around her, and she have to help cover it up, even if it's a loved one. Like, we know Annalise has some real shit she deal with, and that's why I'm surprised she stayed sober so long, honestly. But anyway, and from season one, we've all been everybody's trying to figure out why the Keating, was it the Keating 5 or whatever? I can't remember how many it was to begin with. They were all chosen for a reason. Annalise had some type of ties. We saw the West thing with his mama. And now we're getting to Mikaela. So it turns out, I'm sorry if I'm jumping. These are just my notes and what I remember. It wasn't a lot going on in the episode. Again, the first episode was just kind of not what I was used to in How to Get Away with Murder. So we'll see where this goes. So, it turns out they were like Googling or searching for something, and they found out that Mikaela's birth father, that Annalise happened to know him or helped him in a case or something. So they're like, oh, should we tell Mikaela? Because Mikaela's sitting now looking like a little sad puppy because Laurel and Christopher are gone, and that's her friend and her own, because that's the only two girls in the group. So she just feels just odd woman out at this point, and they're like, are we gonna tell her? They're like, nah, not yet, we got too much else going on, blah blah blah. So plus she just got this whole thing going on with her and was it Caleb? Is his name Caleb? Let me make sure. Oh, Gabriel. Sorry. Her and Gabriel, and she's trying to kind of distance herself from him because, they had kissed it, and she's like, she got feelings for him, but she don't really want to, get close with him because all her relationships go bad. I'm like, girl, you don't want to cheat on Asher. Like, whatever. So, and Asher is still a good girlfriend. So he might as well be the gay. Like, he's like, whatever. Like, I know he's real cool with Connor and Ali, but he's just like the gay girlfriend, the way he kind of plays with Mikaela. And he's just still just a really good friend to her, even though she did him kind of bogus with all that nonsense back with the whole crossover episode with Scandal, Miss You Scandal, and How to Get Away with Murder, how she cheated. And, Bonnie and Nate are talking or whatnot. They find out that because he was trying to find out more answers about Emmett and all that stuff, and like what happened, who's with the murder, well, with his body, what's going on. He's trying to figure out what's going on with that, but it says that he is being transported, and they're letting the London branch and everything. I don't even know if he like really he not from London, but they're letting the whole London people in London take care of the whole funeral and all that. His body's been just sent over there. They're not really keeping it here or keeping it there with them. So it just seems like a big ass cover up because they're just trying to brush the whole Emmett thing under the rug. So it's just all seems shady. And then he even goes to talk to Tegan what's the name? Nate goes to talk to Tegan, and she's like, he was my friend, and his body was right here, and all this. You're not my friend. Get out of my office. But it turns out Tegan ends up getting promoted to partner because of the him dying and everything. So I'm like, oh well, that benefited you. So it's just I don't know where how I feel with Tegan right now because everything just seemed kind of just off with how she really was dealing with the whole Emmett thing. Because I thought they was cool, but then I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, and we jump constantly to Annalise and her support group and her in rehab. Her roommate is some white lady or whatever. I think named Sally or Sandy. Sally, I believe. And she called her out as being basic. And then one day when they're like hanging out in their I guess dorm room or room, Annalise gets a call, and then she's like, "Oh, who's Bonnie?" And she gets called from Bonnie and stuff, just checking in on her. Even Tegan calls and checks in on her. It's like, "Oh, you're not supposed to have phones, blah blah blah." But she happens to see Annalise check her phone as Bonnie, and then you know because Annalise hasn't been responsive to any of the treatment, even when she's talking to her doctor, she's like, "Well, I can't help you. You paying a whole lot of money to not respond to the treatment, or at least try to get something out of this treatment." And you know how Annalise is just very cold and standoffish. So it's hard to break through to her sometimes, but it seemed that this therapy kind of did something for her because they had an exercise where it's like, okay, you have all these things of how people see you or how, like at your funeral, the whole thing is your funeral. What will people say about you when you're dead? How are people going to feel about you when you're gone? She's like, oh, people will just be happy that I'm gone. It's like, even though all these people need me and depend on me, it just feels like they'll still just be happy that I'm not there anymore. So, and then like they had like all these like, what words would you say to describe yourself? You're spewing off these words to other people. And she was like reading everybody, but okay, read yourself, look inward reflection. What do you see about yourself, or what is it you don't like about yourself? What words would you associate with yourself? She was saying selfish, a mammy, dirty, ugly, a bitch, and like, all these things, like, like they're implied but not said in a lot of stuff as far as her character. But is an inward reflection of like what people think. Home wrecker, because you know how she got with Sam, and it was just like, okay, so she's just addressing all those things when she actually got real with herself, because she was talking to her roommate, and the roommate was like telling her, when she's asking her who Bonnie was, she was like, you never let anybody in. I don't know how anybody could ever love you or care about you because the way you are, like how so standoffish and blah, blah, blah. And then she was Annalise defense mechanism. She just turns it on her like, oh, I'm sure, you on Chardonnay and pills. I see that rock on your finger, your family and all that. And you have your kids. So you put so much into your kids and blah, blah, blah. You're a mom and you look down on me because you feel like you're superior because you're a mom, and you put everything you can and you just want them to need you and all that. She just goes so hard on this Sally lady. And then Sally lady look, I hate my kids. And I've been in this program about 3 or 4 times. And she's like, every time, and it just hasn't done nothing for her. She's like, I just want to go away. Like, she's like, every time I go through this program and I come back and they still there, I'm like, what, you want your kids to be gone or dead? When you come back or just leave? I don't know how old her children are, but I'm like, dang. But I mean, that some people have huge regret after they have children, and they're just like, why did I even have these kids? I hate these children. I don't like these people. I don't want to be around them. But that makes you seem like a bad person. Nobody ever wants to put that out in the air or in the open and actually say that, because that makes you a horrible person. If you're a mother of like 5 and you're like, I hate all my kids, like, you can't just go around and say that. But it's a feeling, and some people may have that feeling, and it's really messed up, and it would probably be devastating to her children. But she apparently, that's just how she feels. And she opened up to Annalise, and Annalise is like, my real name isn't Karen, it's Annalise Keaton, and everyone thinks I killed my husband. I did not, but I did help cover it up. And then she was like, oh wow, So the next day, like Annalise, the roommate Sally girl, she not in there, and then turns out one of the other people kind of snapped and went off on one of the staff members because she thought that the police was there for her because maybe little Sally was a narc and told on her, but no, she went to go find Sally or whatnot, and she was like, "Oh hey." And whatnot. I know we talked about a lot of stuff last night. She's like, Annalise, because the whole thing is, you turn to your friend during the therapy. Was like, I see you and I love you. It's just like, I love you, self acceptance, and all that. Like these exercises, they may seem like silly, to begin with, I guess. But after a while, it started rubbing off on Annalise, and she really was getting some type of use out of it. And it helps her open up to this lady. I hope this lady just it becomes a ally and not somebody on some other stuff because she don't know her like that. But I mean, you just never know because everybody got some type of weird past and some craziness, and you just never know when it comes to the Shondaland stuff. Take a drink. So yeah, where? So we finally see how Annalise ended up in the rehab. It goes back because we were seeing flashes of when Annalise was on the phone with Tegan, and she was like, "Emmett's dead, and they killed him." Annalise was in a bar when she was calling and telling her this, and then Laurel came up missing. So Annalise just completely went off the deep end, rock bottom. Some brand she was just start drinking. She was asking for another. Then she was just dancing in the jukebox. Where is it real like jukebox? People just actually play songs on jukeboxes and stuff, but she just in some like dark like bar clubby type place and playing songs or whatnot, and some random dude, the devil always behind you, just looking and waiting for his time to just come on you when you're weak. Because that's what it just reminded me of, this random dude coming up on her. And she drink, all of a sudden she up in the bathroom doing lines with this man. It's like, what the fuck, Annalise? No. Did nobody tell you to graduate to other drugs now? Like, your drinking is enough. So it was just like, wow, what? So she's like end up looking cracked out with this man doing these drugs. So she wakes up, like she blacks out obviously from doing all these drugs and alcohol, wakes up in the hospital. Bonnie's, come to see about her because I guess she's, person she contact. She was on coke, MDMA, and fentanyl, I believe, is what she was on when she was found. Like just rock bottom gutter. Like, girl, you lucky that you alive, like doing all that stuff. Just all night bender from her guilt and a lot of things that she's talking about. She feel like she was selfish for leaving right when Laurel disappeared. But I'm like, girl, if you hit rock bottom like that, you ain't no good to nobody else anyway. So you do need to get yourself clean. You do need to get help before you can. Them kids are stressful. They ain't kids, they grown. Okay. But, she sees them as kids, they young, and she, they just, oh, Annalise, I don't know. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, she ain't the one to be out here murdering folks and doing all this horrible stuff. She helps cover it up. She helps them, and they do kill. Like some like people do ill things for her, but she directly isn't doing these things. But they just saying she's like the catalyst. But whatever. So from there, let me see what else is there to talk about. Not much. And the whole Mikaela and Gabriel thing. Yeah, so I guess they're gonna be a thing or whatnot. Even though I swear he liked Laurel too. But Laura just whatever. And then Frank just does not believe that Laura just left on her own accord. And even Bonnie was like, how do you know? He's like, oh, he pulls out a toy like Christopher. He can't sleep without this, and she'd just be cruel to just leave like that without something like that for her son, and blah blah blah. And then towards the end of the episode, what else happens? If I jumped over anything, y'all, just put it below, because I mean the episode wasn't I didn't get a whole lot from it. Like that's just me, but hey. So Gabriel and Mikaela end up doing it, and then she get a text because Nate goes and picks up Annalise from that program. Ain't rehab at least got to be like what? it take like 30 days to develop a new habit. So I don't know how long this rehab was, maybe a few weeks. I'm not 100% sure how long that was. And so she's like, "Oh, come by my house. I'm back, blah, blah, blah." She's ready to get back to work and help them or whatever, or look for whatever. So she was like, "We need to just let go." So she tries to the exercise with, the kids, grown ass kids, but like, "Oh, y'all need to forgive yourself." She pulls out like one of the fire pokers, and you need to forgive yourself. You need to just like all the things you think about yourself. We need to let go. We even need to let go of Laurel. Like, y'all always think that Laurel needs taking. Laurel has never needed us. Laurel can take care of herself and whatnot. We need to just let her go. And Mikaela was like, "No, that's my friend. That's my only friend, and she the only one like on her level who know like what she's been through. So, she's not so easy to let her go." But Laura got some secrets, and she got some of her father and her mama. They both crazy. So it's hard to like Laura, she hard to read on some stuff or how she would even go about some stuff. But she's like, "You just need to let her go." So she had them all do this thing, and Asher is like, he's like, "I'm not a pushover, I'm not this," and because like, "You lost so much, I'm not the black sheep," and just all their insecurities, characteristics that we all know about all of them, that they think. And like Mikaela, she even goes to Gabriel like, "Oh, everybody always leaves me. You just better make sure that if you're ever gonna leave me or break up with me." I'm like, "Break up with you, girl? Y'all ain't even together." But break up with me, that you give me you address it like a real adult, and you don't just ghost me or whatever. So that's her thing with Gabriel, and that's how she gave up the draws or whatever. But when they're doing this exercise, all of them, and Asher's done it, Ollie's doing it, and whatnot. But because at first Mikaela was trying to leave, like, "No, my friend is missing, and I'm going to the police." Like, "You don't need to go to police because Bonnie and Frank are already going to the police about this with Laurel and everything." And they're at Bonnie's house looking through everything, trying to figure out what's going on and with the whole Laurel situation. And then as the police, who don't do a thorough job, who'd have thunk, Frank happens to notice something on the back of the picture of Laurel and Christoph, and it's a key. So we don't know what that key is to at this moment right now, but it might be something that Laurel left behind, or I don't know. It's probably something that Laurel left behind, to a clue to something. I don't know. So, and then a couple of times, Gabriel's mom has called him just to check in on him or whatnot. And again, we've never seen his mom up until this episode. So she's like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" And she's like, "I'm just checking up on you. You ain't just drop out of school and don't tell me." And he's like, "Nah, mom, what's up?" And turns out she's like in town. I don't know where he's from. I can't remember. But she's in town and stuff, and she's like spying on him, and she looking at him through the window or whatever of his West's old building and all that. And from what I thought, like, it seemed like this woman was like weak or whatever. The way they made her seem from before didn't seem like she was, I don't know, it just seems off, because she was with Sam or whatever from before Annalise, I guess, or whatever. And turns out, she come in, and Sam loved him some chocolate. But yeah, so, but she has a box, she's talking to I be want to call him Wes, his name is Gabriel. But she has a box, and it has Sam's name on it. The box looks old as hell, and it says case number so and so. So I'm like, what case was he like a mental thing? Like, was she a doctor too? And was he her patient? Or because it did look, the box looked old. The box didn't look like it was a case of his murder. Put it like that, because it just didn't look that old. Like, his murder is still fresh for that box. That box looked older than that. Put it like that. So I'm like, what is the basis? So I guess we're gonna delve into more so about the whole thing with how they came about. And she in town, so we're gonna see that, because she gonna probably go head to head with Annalise. She looked like she got some spunk to her, some stuff to her. So I know she have like a drug habit or something. So we'll see that. And I'm curious to see is how she gonna play into all of this, because Gabriel's whole backstory was still just kind of up in the air. Like, we just still don't know a lot when it comes to, besides him being Sam's son. Like, okay, and the mama whole situation, we don't know. So from there, Tegan is going into her it jumps to Tegan going into her new office, which is Emma's old office. And his glasses are still sitting on the desk. I'm like, dang, this is messed up. And then she looked at the glasses like, boy, bye, and throws them in the garbage. So I'm like, was you really cool with him or not? Like, was that an act? Like, I'm just a little taken back about how Tegan reacted to all that. And she said that was her friend and all that. But as soon as everybody was gone, she was just like, whatever, fuck him. I'm partner now and whatnot. And that's why it showed even Nate, like, researching her some more to see, like, let me find out she a super double triple agent with this stuff, and we can't trust her either, because I'm still upset about her popping up pop like popcorn on cream sugar, messing stuff up. I mean, if y'all watch that, comment down below if y'all was like, oh my god, Tegan up in here. She played a lot of other things. Great actress. But yeah, so that's pretty much. Let me look through one more good time to make sure. Sorry, y'all. Through my notes. That's all that pretty much seemed like needs to be mentioned. Oh, and at the very end, not the very, well, yeah, at the end, like, when Mikaela was doing her little sequence about, oh, her like little therapy session, beating on the pillow with the fire poker. She was saying all these things because first she was like, oh no, she didn't want to participate, but then she finally did and got serious about it, and she felt a little better. And then Asher, in the back, he's like, okay, well, are you going to tell Mikaela the truth about, her birth father? And then she was like, if that's the truth, then I'm going to kill you. Then it jumps off to a funeral, Annalise's funeral again. I don't know if they're trying to tell us at the end of this Annalise is going to be dead, or if this is just like, if that's foreshadow. I don't know. It didn't seem like a real funeral, honestly, but I'm just saying, is it her? And that picture was bogus. All the pictures they could have had of her, that better not be her real funeral. So she's like, if that's true that you knew my birth father, then I'm going to kill you. Because the whole thing is, we all know that Annalise picked all of them for a reason. Nothing was by chance. Everybody was for a reason. So her connection to Mikaela's father, we don't know, but I guess we're going to find out. And that is it, guys. That's all I got to say about How to Get Away with Murder. You guys got predictions or things y'all want to say, then put it down below. I'm still, I wanted a little bit more. I know it's the first episode, but I'm just used to the first episode of How to Get Away with Murder giving like some type of like, oh my god, who's that, who's under this, and who's this, and who got killed, blah blah blah. I'm just used to that suspense, and it really just did not happen this episode, unless they're trying to tell us that Annalise is dead at the end of this, and that wasn't, I didn't get that completely. So if she is dead, and I'm like, that was a whack looking funeral at the end, but yeah, it just was kind of different from what I'm used to. So that's why I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to roll with this and see how I go. But this is why let me just go off on a little thing real quick. This is why I don't like the final season of nothing. Like, Dexter did me this way. Like, every Game of Thrones, like, I don't know. I just always like, it'd be like the best shows. And it's just like, once it comes to the last season, I just get lost. And I'm like, why did they do this? Like, but yeah, if y'all feel like that about your favorite shows and it just gets weird at the very end and you don't know why, that's how I feel. I don't feel like completely off put yet, but I'm just saying it's not flowing the way things usually flow in Shondaland in the How to Get Away with Murder, like the formula. That show has a formula and it's straying away from it. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let you finish. So that's pretty much how I feel about that, y'all. Y'all have a good, blessed evening. I will be posting up more this weekend. I know I've only posted a little bit, but I got some more stuff that I want to do, and I'm gonna get some more content going for you guys. But I will see y'all later. Peace.